I don't know what it's going to take before certain people like NSB and other places, I did this before. I did this with David Benavides. I did this with Bumbanga. I don't know what it's going to take. It seems like no matter what I try to do here at Combat Talk Radio, found at combattalkradio.net, that despite my every effort, I can't get certain people who call themselves fans to stop hanging their hat on the so-called eye test, because no matter what happens, these eye test fighters all seem to get exposed. They all get either bombed out, decisioned, or something weird happens to them. Fundora, he was another one. I don't know what it's going to take. And then the other fighters who should pass the eye test, they don't give them that credit, like Shakur and Super Matias. So last week, this weekend, I don't know if you saw the fight. If you did, you saw what I saw, which is, Joe Joyce. He's one of those guys. So many people and outlets kept claiming this dude. He beats Wilder, he beats Fury, he beats Usyk, he beats all these heavyweights. He's just the next boogeyman of heavyweight. Nobody wants none of that smoke. And what you saw is, Zhang Zhilei, who I argued I didn't think he was going to get a win. I didn't. I frankly didn't. But watching the fight, and just to break down real quick what we saw what we expected to see mostly from Joe Joyce. What we didn't expect is Zhang Zhilei to perform as well as he did. He's got skill, but he's up there. So it's kind of like Luis Ortiz. It's kind of like some guys, they depending on the opponent, that is, they seem to be able to step it up and perform at a really high level. So Joe Joyce is the one that's weird, because Joe Joyce, he's always been known as, he'll just block punches with his face. And I see that a lot. Some of these guys, they block punches with their face. There's no desire to actually hit and not get hit anymore, which really bothers me. So, Joyce, he's basically eating shots. But the story was because Zhilei he's a southpaw, right? So Zhang, he's a southpaw. As a southpaw, he was landing at will on Joe Joyce's face because Joe Joyce doesn't move his head. He doesn't evade. He doesn't do anything to stop the punches. But the theory had always been that Joe Joyce would just walk through the punches and punish his opponent. Now, let's be honest. If he's getting stopped, I'm talking Joyce, getting stopped by Zhang, there was no way he's going to get past somebody like Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder. He damn sure wasn't going to get past Wilder, because if you don't move your head against Deontay Wilder, you're going to get knocked out cold. We've seen that time and again. No matter what people say about the opponents, Wilder sparked out cold. The only person who didn't spark out was Tyson damn Fury, and he almost sparked him out. He dropped him enough times, more times than any other fighter. Let's be honest, folks. There would have been no way that Joe Joyce was going to get past Deontay Wilder. It wasn't going to happen. And then with Joshua, even tentative running on the bike against Andy Ruiz version of Joshua, I think Joshua would have landed something at will and taken him out too. I'm saying that these guys, we got to stop this eye test, this gravitas towards eye test and going after these fighters just because, like, why are we celebrating a guy who blocks punches with his face? Why aren't we looking for guys? And then they'll say that, oh, this guy's running or something else when they actually are evasive and they're actually trying to avoid punches like you're supposed to do as a boxer. I'm struggling. So I'm not trashing on Joe Joyce. I'm saying I think he was overrated by the vast majority of people. I think that what happened to him was inevitable. It was going to happen once he went against the right guy. It's just that Zhang was not, he didn't feel like he should have been that guy. Like, if I'm honest, there's guys that went the distance with Zhang. So it's like, how come Joyce couldn't go if he's at a top level, if he's this world beater fighter that the boxing community claims he was, how that, like, I'm trying not to swear, how is it that he was not able to deal with what was in front of him? Like, that's what's weird. So I'm not trashing Joyce. I'm saying I want the boxing community to stop going after the eye test. What you saw, unfortunately, was what you expected to see if you recognize this guy's just blocking punches with his face, and he's not making any attempt to move away from his hand. And then somebody else said, well, yeah, but he's not using his signature punch, which is the jab. If you're a top flight fighter, are you really saying that top flight fighters, all you can do is a jab? Like, that's not a top flight fighter. That's an eye test fighter. And you got okey-doked by the eye test. That's what happened here. As fans, we need to recognize that the eye test lies to you. It's lied to you repeatedly. We've seen it time and again with these guys getting either dominated, outboxed, close decision, or knocked the heck out. We need to stop doing that. Stop hyping up these, putting them on a pedestal because you want to see this other guy lose. That's the truth. They wanted to see people like Wilder lose again. They want to see Joshua lose again. These are not fans. They're marks. So it's not Joyce's fault. I'm sure he'll go back in the gym and improve on what he needs to, because he damn sure needs to learn to block punches instead of not just taking punches on the chin. But I want to see the boxing community get smarter, and we should want to celebrate fighters who actually move their head and are defensive and try to evade damage, not just take punches and walk straight into damage like this. Kudos to Zhang for his performance, but let's be honest, Zhang doesn't get past the upper crust. He got past Joyce because Joyce was a lesser fighter. Joyce was a B-minus level fighter. That's the truth. Zhang doesn't get past Wilder. He doesn't get past Usyk. He doesn't get past Fury. He damn sure doesn't get past Anthony. He doesn't get past any of those guys. He doesn't get past the top. So he can talk all he wants. If he steps in there with any of those top guys, he gets sparked out cold. Bottom line. So I'm not going to criticize Joyce. I know it sounds like I did. I'm not. I am criticizing, again, not defending. Yes, but I want him to get better. That's why I say this. I want him to improve. That's what fans should want, is improvement of your fighter, not just block punches with your face. Learn to defend like boots. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of fighters who just, and then the boxing community celebrates these guys because they can walk through punches. You shouldn't want them to do that shit. You should want them to actually use some defense for a change and stop calling these guys the next coming or world beaters or boogeymen when they're not, because they're not that stylistically good. At this point, we still don't have really a solid, well-rounded fighter on the caliber of like a Tyson Fury. No, not even Usyk, because Usyk was getting tagged by Anthony Joshua. Usyk went close with Anthony Joshua. So no, I don't put Usyk in that class. Fury is the only one right now that seems like he's most well-rounded. And even he got dropped against Deontay Wilder. So let's pump the brakes, calm it down, or tap the brakes, as some people say, on Joe Joyce and some of these other fighters like boring-ass Frank Sanchez and some of these other ones. We need to calm it down, okay? They're B-level until they prove that they're up there. I'd like to see a unification of heavyweight so that we can open up the division a little bit. Or let's see some vacays. Let's vacate the belts and let's get some other champions in here so we can make some of these fights so we can see where these guys are at. Where we're at with Joe Joyce, he's a B-minus level fighter. There's nothing wrong with that. He's got some stuff to work on, but he's older. So is it too late? I don't know. All I'm saying is what I saw is what we expected to see, which is he eats punches with his face. And that's not what we should celebrate, ladies and gentlemen.